My name is Warren McAdams. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I work in the home health settings for both adults and pediatrics. One of the things that I commonly see is an inability for an individual to put on or take off their clothing, especially if they are post-stroke or perhaps they have cerebral palsy, whether as a child or an adult. And then of course those who have had limb amputations or are born with limb deficiencies. This video in particular will be more geared towards those individuals who actually have the anatomical limb remaining, or perhaps if there's a amputation at the wrist, the elbow, or transverse femoral, for example. But if it's an amputation at the actual shoulder joint, I will do perhaps a follow-up video if it's requested for how to take on and or particularly how to put on a shirt, since that'll be a little bit different than the techniques I'll be using today. So the first thing I would recommend is grabbing the baggiest, loose-fitting t-shirt as possible. And for me, I've gone ahead and grabbed a t-shirt at the ready. You can be in a chair with an armrest. That's perhaps more ideal than a chair with nothing around. It can be done with a chair without armrests like this. If you don't have a chair with an armrest, you can simulate it by grabbing a bar stool, a nightstand, or position your chair next to a nightstand. And you can essentially just prop your arm up. And from here, what you'll do, let's say my left is affected and my right is for the most part fully functional. So what I will do is I will go ahead and weave my hand through, and I'm looking for the arm corresponding to my affected arm. So for example, if I want the left arm through the left sleeve, it's going to be the left sleeve that I go for first. So I'm going to weave my hand in here, and once I've got that, I'm going to simply maneuver my functional hand to place this shirt on and slide it up to my shoulder. And from here, all I have to do is go ahead and grab the opening of the headpiece and simply loop it around my head as such. So from here, all I can do is wiggle my hand. I have the opening, and I just gently slide right through. Again, this is a pretty baggy shirt. It is easier for those who don't have an undershirt, as it causes a bit of a stick, but there we go. So that's putting on a shirt. Taking it off, I'm going to start at the collar, weave my way to the back. I'm going to just lift, and I'm going to pull. If your clothing is a little bit more delicate, go ahead and lift up at the base of it first to have less that you have to yank over. And from here, I can either go for the unaffected side first, and I have the shirt at the ready with my OK arm, or I can slide it off my OK arm and then pull it from the affected side. So let's go ahead and switch to my tightest fitting shirt outside of this one. I'm going to do the same thing. It is easier if you're able to stand. You can actually have your shirt already laid out, let's say on the bed, for example, and weaving your hand through that is much easier than if it's just dangling in space. But for the purposes of this, you can also drape it over your knee, and when you weasel your hand through, it's a bit easier in that fashion too. So I've got my hand in the corresponding left sleeve. I'm going to go ahead and now move my arm here and sliding it all the way up, and then going for the headpiece. And you may note there's a little bit of a catch back here sometimes. All you have to do is just do a little tug. Again, that's more for delicate clothing. And then from here, I'm going to find that sleeve. Here it is. And easily just weasel my arm through. So again, this is much easier without an existing undershirt since it just clings to everything, and then I made it a little more challenging for myself by having a shirt, the tightest fitting shirt I have. So getting it off is going to be quite cumbersome, and all you're going to do is roughly the same technique, but like I mentioned before, go ahead and give yourself a little bit of a handicap and draw it as high up as possible. And from here, if you've got a really good external rotation of your shoulder, you can potentially just, try not to grab my undershirt. Keep grabbing like this until you've got it, and then pull it over. It may take a couple tries, and you may also have to hunch forward in order to do that. But let's assume your external rotation perhaps isn't that great. So you'll start here, and you'll slide as far back as you can. And I'm pretending like I don't have this much available motion. And I can just bend my head forward a little bit here. And same setup. I can either pull it off this side, or I can wiggle my arm. I personally think it's a little bit easier to go ahead and just slide it off the affected side first. And again, you have it easy peasy. So that's shirts. Next, let's discuss pants. I'm going to be keeping these pants on, just pretend they're underwear. Start with athletic clothes. Again, bigger, baggier may make it easier for you. If you have very short shorts that are really stiff, those might also be really good to practice. Some people, too much fabric for the legs is just a bit too cumbersome. What I see the mistake most people make is at the front where pants zippers would normally go, people ignore that and they try to grab the side leg piece. And when you try to get your foot through there, that's ridiculously hard. I'll show you with what I mean here. So you want to grab at the front center, and it gives you a little better visualization of where your legs will go all the way through. Whereas if you grab something like, let's see, at the side, for example, if I grab this, it looks like it'd be a clear shot, but it's a little bit harder, and people often shoot and put their left leg where the right leg's supposed to go. So in order to just offset that, grab at the very front center of the pants. So how I'll do this, again, front center of the pants, and I'm going to weave. Let me actually lower this a bit. I'm going to reset that so it's easier to see. I'm going to weave my foot through, and it just naturally goes through the right hole if I have my hand held at the center. And from here, I can do shifts onto each glute until I have it all the way up. And there we go. I've got my shorts on. To take them off, I'm going to do the same weight shifting. This is assuming you don't have the ability to stand. So there we go. Now I'm going to make it a little more challenging with other types of shorts. These have buttons and a zipper, so this poses a new challenge. So what you're going to do, again, hold it at the center. One leg through, other leg through. You're going to weight shift. And actually, I'm going to show you how to do this standing if you can stand. I recommend being by a bed or something you can hold up against. Even if it's simply, and when I indicated hold up against, I didn't mean with the arm. More so you can lean against the bed with one of your legs for a little bit of a support. But you're going to weave one leg through, weave the other leg through, and from here, Same thing, we're just going to slide up. Now, the problem with buttons and zippers is a lot of people are so used to using two hands to do everything that this is a little bit challenging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this fabric a little bit over. If I have the luxury of being next to a wall, I'm going to pin my shorts up against the wall so this fabric stays as far over as possible. And I'll lean against it, and that way all I have to do is angle here and find where the button should weave through, and I'm done. Now again, pretending there's no wall, so all I'm going to do, instead of pulling this piece first since there's no wall to stabilize, I'm just going to grab the spot with the button. I'm going to keep my index finger on kind of the edge of the button. I'm going to grab the fabric of the other side of the shorts, and I know it's kind of tough to see. So the hole is right there, and what I'm going to do is with my thumb, I know it's kind of difficult to see, I'm angling the button, the bottom of the button forward. And that way all I have to do is push my thumb forward and the button comes through. And the button is on. The zipper piece, so as my index finger and thumb pull up, I want my other fingers to push in and down, and it makes that much easier to bring that piece up. So to undo this, I'm going to grip the top of this fabric and my finger push backwards on the button so the bottom flares out. My middle finger will grab the bottom and pull forward and up slightly, and that way all I have to do is gently pull forward on this tab, and then from here, same thing, similar to the earlier concept, I'm going to grab the zipper, grab a piece, and just splay outwards until I have enough leeway to just pull down. So one more time, I'm going to grab this piece, and I'm going to shift it through, and this piece. Now I've had a bit of practice educating individuals on this, so it's a bit easier for me. I know it'll be very frustrating at first, but this becomes much, much easier over time. So that's button and zipper with shorts. Let's go ahead and move on to the trickiest, jeans, especially those very tight-fitting jeans. Unfortunately, I do not own a pair of very form-fitting jeans, so I'm doing the best I can with the thinnest I have. So what we're going to do, similar to earlier, I'm grabbing where the zipper and the button are. I'm going to weave one leg through. With this hand, I'm going to pull up until I have enough foot clearance. And I'm going to do the same thing. Again, lean against the bed if you need to. Let go of the center to pull up until I have enough foot clearance. And because I don't want anyone to be tripping as they yank up and the part of the jean fabric is below their heel. So I'm going to bring this up inch by inch, and here we go. Same thing, lean against a wall if you can, and I actually have a wall right here to give a better idea. So I'm going to pull the fabric over, I'm going to pinch that piece there so it's easier to reach with this hand, and I can place the button in, and then once I have it, I'll just weave it the rest of the way through. Oops. And for the zipper, same thing, going up. So to undo, no real change in the technique there, but pulling it down, and we're good to go. Now, bras, socks, shoes, underwear, those can be a little bit different in respect to how you might go about doing those. I can make a separate video on those if y'all would like. Just a quick description for bras in particular, I don't have a bra to actually demonstrate, but to walk you through it. So what you do, let's assume this limb isn't here, but you do have use of a wall. I'm going to position the bra to where it's backwards, so the breast piece is on my back and the clasps are facing outwards. So the bra is essentially inside out and backwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position it to where the clasps of the bra on one side are pinched here and exposed. I'll grab the other side of the bra and I'll easily be able to clasp the bra. From there it dangles at my chest, and I can shift it to where now the breast pieces come forward and it'll make like an upside down W. All you have to do from then is just flip all of it upside down and then shift it upwards into position. Hopefully that helps. Again, I can do a video on that. I just need to go borrow a bra from someone. And then I can make a video on socks too, or shoes and underwear, that kind of thing. But hopefully this gets you squared away for clothing, for tops and bottoms. Alrighty.